Ahem. Ahem. Hello, hello, hello from muggy, cold, drizzly England. Oh dear me. Okay, so I've got to get my lighting fixed. I do apologize, and I'm going to be coming on a lot more on my YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe. Today I am, please like as well. Today, I'm going to be giving you 5 anti-aging hacks. And the reason I'm doing this is because I keep getting asked by people, oh my God, you're a living testament of what you talk about, what you preach about. And I'm no angel, trust me. I have had a life of addiction, 40 years as a smoker until about 8 years ago. So I just thought there's so much. I'm writing an ebook at the moment, and I've got all my clients that I do Pilates with, and I'm an absolute advocate for weight training. Like not massive weight training, but as you get older, as you get over 40, as you get over 50, as you get over 60, you need to do resistance training. But I'm going to give you today short video 5 hacks. Now the thing is in life very often, and this is what people need to really understand, is that because something is simple, it doesn't mean it's easy. That's the first thing I want to say. Because it's simple, it doesn't mean it's easy. Those are two different words. And what I'm going to give you today, I'll literally pick them off the top of my head. I could probably find another dozen to give you, but I'm just going to give you 5 today. And the reason that I'm sharing this is because these 5 tips that I'm giving you, these hacks, are really, really simple. But sometimes we have to dig deeper to find out the reasons that we are literally self-sabotaging, that we're stopping ourselves from doing really freaking simple things that are ultimately about self-love. So when I talk about anti-aging, I'm not saying that aging is bad or wrong or something we don't want to do, because I wouldn't want to be any other age than I am now. And I've got a birthday next week. What I don't want to do is I don't want my body to get old before its time. And so I know now that everything I talk about and everything I've talked about for the last 35 years or more is now paying off, because I've done the work required to get to this stage. So it's always about baby steps. And if you can't master these first 5 baby steps, and they're big steps, but they're simple. They are so simple. Anyway, without further ado, to keep this video nice and short, if this is a topic that interests you, please subscribe, please like, please share with your friends. Apologies about the lighting, which I'm going to get sorted out, but I'm literally banned off Facebook at the moment. They're not sharing any of my stuff at the moment. So I thought I'd just go for my YouTube channel and get out here more, because in the coming months, I'm going to be offering some amazing stuff around lifestyle to support you if you're over 50, over 60, over 70, over 80. I'm going to be offering a lot more support, because I have spent a lifetime of being dedicated to healing myself so I can love myself enough to be comfortable in my body. And that resulted in me literally reversing the aging process. So, 5 anti-aging hacks. The first one I'm going to give you is the one I've talked about in the last 2 videos. There's much more in the last 2 videos, and there's stuff all over the internet about this at the moment. But the last 3 friends, the last 3 people I've spoken to that are my close people in my life, that I see not all the time. We don't phone each other all the time. We've got our own lives. But I mentioned this hack to them. One was my ex-sister-in-law, for example. And this hack she hadn't heard of. So if you're listening to this and you haven't heard of, I'm going to give it you right now. And it's what I talked about in the last 2 videos, castor oil. If you haven't started using castor oil, please go back to my last 2 videos. You can use castor oil for fine lines. You can use castor oil for a scraggy neck. My sister, after 1 night application, her scraggy neck started to improve. And I'm telling you, it's gone. And she's a year younger than me. So she's 62, coming up to 62. I mean, seriously, seriously. So that's an easy one because I've talked about that already. Number two, I've just mentioned weight training. I cannot tell you the benefits of weight training. And that's why I know that my clients, they come to me for Pilates and yoga, right? But they damn well get weight training as well. They get some weights from a good posture. But we won't talk about the ins and outs of it. Just trust me, weight training, resistance training, anything that causes the muscle to break down and rebuild. Because as you're getting older, that muscle mass is diminishing rapidly. Now, not only will that keep you strong and fit and in balance if you're doing it correctly, but also it is the number one cause, reason, not cause, the number one reason that if you get cancer and you have good muscle mass because you do weight training, that is the number one reason that you will get through cancer. Now that's big. And this needs talking about some more because weight training can help you get through and thrive and heal from cancer. And in fact, any inflammatory disease has a better chance if you have good muscle mass. If you have inflammation in the body, which I'm healing constantly with my ulcerative colitis and I do not take medication and I keep myself well, I do get flare-ups, but they're not bad. But any inflammation, if you do weight training, which is why I've just stepped up my weight training. Now, with a history of chronic fatigue and PTSD, I don't do loads of weight training, but I'm now I've made a decision 2 weeks ago to do a bit of weight training at least 3-4 times a week, just for 15 minutes. It's not big, like seriously. And the people I work with, when I offer my free stuff and I do my online stuff with some of my clients and some of my followers on Facebook, I just offer a 15-minute session, but it's being accountable. It's all very well talking about this stuff, as I know from my past. It's about actually doing it. And what is it that stops us? What is it that stops us? So I am a motivator. Like I will motivate you. I get motivated myself, and then I love to motivate others. So it's simple, but it's not always easy to keep up that routine. Number three, so simple. What's the most obvious thing? What's the most obvious hack for anti-aging? Guess. Drink water. Now, the reason that I thought of that one is because for the last, probably for the last year, because I've really upped my lifestyle. I've upped my lifestyle focus. I'm focused on upgrading everything about my lifestyle. And I realized I'm not drinking enough water. Now, when I was in Bali for the winter, because it's so humid there, I was sweating a lot. So I was drinking, I was replacing, but I wasn't replacing my electrolytes. And I've just had a test and my electrolytes are low. And because it's so fucking cold in the UK, I really don't fancy drinking water. And I don't get time to drink hot peppermint tea and that unless it's the evening. So I start drinking it in the evening. I can't get enough down me. And I've had this little addiction going on of having coffee in the morning. Every morning, I have it with cream. I did until 2 weeks ago. So I know I've been getting dehydrated. Whatever the blimmin', we've all got an excuse. We've all got a reason as to why we are not drinking enough water. So I bought one of these big new trendy things that my sister told me about. I didn't spend 80 quid. I think it was about 16 quid. I thought that's a lot. But I bought it because it fits into my car and it's a big thing. And it took me about a week or 10 days to finally remember to prepare my drink. Since I diagnosed myself with ADHD, I realized why I've been the way I have been all my life. Makes sense to me now. And I never liked labels, but now I get it. So I have to really stop and think, right, what do I need? We've got over the where are my keys. Now I'm living in this space, this beautiful space, which was my Pilates studio. I have one big space. I have only one place. I have no children at home, no one else at home to move my stuff. If anything disappears, it's my fault. I've put it there. So now I know where my keys are. So that doesn't take up a lot of energy to find my keys and to find my phone. Shock horror. So now my focus is, have I got my water with me? And what I've discovered, me who always loved drinking water, what I've discovered is that I've got this lovely electrolyte drink. I don't do sugar, but it's slightly sweetened with stevia and it's got loads of goodies in it. And I put that into my water and it just gives it that bit of flavour. Now, I've never drunk flavoured drinks and I'm not a fan of sweet drinks at all, ever. But this makes me really enjoy it, especially when the weather's so shit outside. And I have really felt the difference. And I'm noticing immediately that my skin with the castor oil and the water, drinking more water, even my poop is softer today. I'm only a week in, all right, of upping my water. But I'm feeling the benefits already. I'm feeling more energy. Oh, that's another one. I'm going to do 6. I've just thought of another one. Sleep. Let's tag that into castor oil. Sleep is anti-aging, deep sleep. And the castor oil, if you put it on in the right places, will give you deep sleep. We'll talk about that in another video. And hopefully when I get my VA very soon, I can make my videos a little bit more snappy, a bit more interesting visually. Sleep, castor oil, linked, very, very linked, really great anti-aging hack. Okay. Number 4 is chill out. Chill out. This is essential. Now, it is really hard when you've got teenage children. It is really hard when you've got little ones. It is really hard if you're not in a good relationship. It is really hard if you've got a job that you hate. Okay. All of these things do not make it easy. However, life is not meant to be easy. We are here on a journey of self-discovery, of remembering who we really are, of activating and learning how to love and nurture all the parts of us that make us a human being. It's not meant to be easy, but it is simple. And if you can practice and learn how to practice very simple techniques to bring you into the present moment where you can just observe your breath or play some classical music. When I had PTSD, I would get in the car before I went into the supermarket to do the family shopping. I would have my classical music on and I would just spend 1 minute, 2 minutes listening to the classical music, slowing down, switching off. Because I knew that if I got out the car and walked into that shop, I would have a panic attack. Now, that's a really extreme example of chill out, and whatever level of stress or anxiety you are at right now in your life, and just sit with that for a minute. Just think, what level of anxiety and stress am I going through in my life right now? And how could I notch up just by one little degree to support my system in experiencing less stress and anxiety? And if I give you an example of when my husband, my first late husband was dying, age 25, I was 25, we had 2 babies. That was what brought on my post-traumatic stress disorder. When I look back all those years ago, it's about 38 years ago. When I look back at that time, my level of anxiety and my level of stress and trauma was so intense that the only way I would have been able to notch it up, because I didn't have the tools. I had no tools. I had nothing. No tools at all. All I knew in my life was anxiety overwhelm, was stress overwhelm. The only tool I had was alcohol and cannabis. That was the only tool I had. And if I look back now, 38 years ago, so it was 1986, and I was 25, and I had 2 children, and I had a husband die. Actually, it wasn't till after he died that the cannabis upped. It was the only thing I could do to relieve myself. If I look back, and I'm just really feeling this in my heart right now, I don't think I'd have done it any differently, you know? Now, that's not a promotion for cannabis, or maybe it is. Was I avoiding? Do you know what? Back in those days, if it was now in these times, I think there would have been support to hold me because I had so much, or I have so much awareness now of the benefits and the power of conscious communication, circle work, and space holding. We'll hold that for another video. But if I was going back to 1986, when my husband was dying and my baby was on a life support machine, and my 3-year-old, I had to find people to give him so I could go to the hospital and be with my husband who was on an isolation ward and my baby who was on a life support machine. I can't see that I have any regrets about how I dealt with it then. Now, I'm giving that as a really, really extreme example of what I did to relieve myself of being so stressed that it was that, or I just felt like, and I didn't because I had children. That's a really extreme case, and yours might be an extreme case. But if you are further up the scale of anxiety and stress, what can you do right now in this moment to notch up your level of support for you to just chill out a little bit? I can talk about that till the cows come home, but I'll keep this video under 20 minutes, otherwise I'm going on too long. And the last one I've got kind of leads on from that one. The last, anti-aging, because this is all anti-aging. I literally added decades to my life. I was looking old and haggard and stressed, and I could see it in my face. I was literally looking in my 50s when I was in my 20s. That's how I felt. I felt, obviously, that's what happens. You can see when somebody's had a stressed life. And people would say to me, "You've had a hard life. I can see it in your face." It's not a nice thing to be told, but it was true. And I have been slowly working on all the hacks. So that's why I'm sharing this with you. The last one I've got kind of carries on from number 4. Number 5, learn about mindfulness. Learn about mindfulness. Now there is a difference between meditation and mindfulness. And at that time, just after that time, I did find a teacher that taught me transcendental meditation. Now that's slightly different, but what mindfulness is, and I'm giving you this as me in my 60s mindfulness and what we know now. Mindfulness is something that I teach when I'm teaching conscious communication in my heart circles. And the most simple way that I can give you, and the reason it's anti-aging is because literally it is removing that stress. And all stress, as my yoga teacher trainer taught me 30 years ago, all stress ultimately is of the mind, because it's the mind that takes us into the past and the future. The mind only knows the past and the future. That's all the mind knows. So it's all perceived fear. It's all fear. That's what fear is. Fear is of the mind. But when we come into the present moment, this moment here, this moment right now, and even as I say that, I have goosebumps on my skin. Because when I come into the present moment, this is all actually that exists. There's nothing else. This is all that there is now. And now. And now. And now. And I can observe my body now in this present moment. So if you can take yourself into the present moment, That is an amazing, immediate anti-aging hack. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe, please like, please share, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much for listening, and have a wonderful day, whatever you're doing, and let me know how you get on in the comments, and if you've practiced any of those things, and if you've had results from practicing. I'd love to hear your results. Bye for now.